Okay, so this could be part 3 to What If Deku Was Moon Knight. So let's get into it.
Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah.
So, where I last left off, it was the end of the sports festival. So, let's continue. So, the sports festival ended a couple hours ago, and now it's nighttime. Deku is suited up. He's in his suit, and he's out on patrol. And throughout the on his patrol, he encounters like a few low low level thugs. He takes them out, and he does what he does. Then a few hours passed, and I'm gonna say it's like 3 in the morning. And Deku is still out on patrol, and Deku spots like a group of people in an alleyway. He jumps building to building, and he looks down on the alleyway, and he sees like one group on like at the back, like the back of the alleyway, and another group like entering the alleyway. And Deku is just watching because he doesn't want to make his move yet. And one of the groups has a guy with a mask on, and there are other, I'll say like there's 4 other men with similar masks. One like the main guy, like the guy that's in front of the group, has it covers half of his face, and the other ones have like a full on plague doctor mask. And there's like these other villains or like thugs, and Deku's just watching them. And the other group would walk towards them as well, and they would meet in the middle. And the man in the mask would say, "So, do you have it?" The other men would say, "No, not yet, but we will. I can promise you that." And the man in the mask would say, like, you made a deal with us. You said you would have it by tonight." The man would say, "Yes, I know, but we had a little encounter with a few other people, and we lost track of time, and we weren't able to bring the thing that you wanted." And the man in the mask would say, like, "Oh, that's unfortunate." Then he pulls out a gun and he shoots all of the men in front of him, and with all of them get like shot with a dart. And for a second, the men would just think like, "Oh, I thought it was like an actual bullet. It's just like a dart." And like all of them were like, they would get pissed off, and they would say like, "Hey, what was that for?" And they would try to use their quirks, but they would find out that they're not able to use their quirks. And they would say like, "Hey, what is this? What did you do to us?" And the guy in the mask would say like, "Nothing, just took away your quirk." And the man would say like, "What the hell? Like, how did you do that?" And the guy would say, "With those bullets or darts." And the man would say like, "Those bullets can take away quirks?" And the man in the mask would say, "Yeah, they do. And we have way more of them. You're just like test subjects." this was like the first time they were out in the field, and I wanted to test them, and to me they work perfectly. And the men would say like, how long does this last for? And the guy in the mask would say it's permanent. All of them would be shocked, and they would say like, wait, what? Like, we lost our quirks forever? The guy would say, yeah, you did. And the guy would walk up towards the men. He puts his hand on their face. Or no, he wouldn't do that. Um, he would he wouldn't walk up, but he would put his hand on the ground, and spikes would come out of the ground and would pierce through all the men, killing them. And the men, like the other group, would say, like, Shizuki, let's go. This was a waste of time. He would say, yeah, let's go. And the men would walk off. And Deku, after seeing that, he's not having it. So he jumps down in front of them, and they would get startled, and they would say like, "Oh, who are you?" And then they get a good close look at Deku, and they would say like, "Yo, that's Moon Knight." Like, and some of them would say like, some of them are kind of scared. They're like trembling, but then they get their composure, and they would say like, "Hi, we can just erase his quirk. Like, he wouldn't be able to do anything without his quirk." And one of them would shoot him with one of the quirk eraser bullets, and it would hit Deku, but Deku would just take like pull it out, and he would just drop the bullet on the ground, and they would say like, "Ha, you can't." And they would say like, "Ha, you can't use your quirk anymore. Like, we erased it." And Deku doesn't say anything. He's basically standing like in the picture. He has his brass knuckles. Yeah, he has his brass knuckles, and he charges at all of them, and he takes out a few of them, and then Shizuki, and since I revealed his name, like, you guessed it, it's Overhaul. And so I'm just calling him by Overhaul now. Overhaul would make spikes that come out from the ground. Deku would dodge all of them, and he would kick the other guys, knocking them all out. And now all is left is Overhaul. And Overhaul would say like, "So you're the infamous Moon Knight, huh? The vigilante." He would say like, "What? Like, what? Like, that doesn't matter right now. Like, what matters is like, what did you do to those men? Like, you killed them." And Overhaul would say like, "Yeah, I killed the men. A small sacrifice for the greater good." And Deku gets mad by that. He would say like, "For the greater good," and he like clenches his fist and charges at Overhaul. Overhaul will make a wall in front of him and make spikes appear from around, like, behind Deku, piercing him, not like just puncturing his armor and somewhat piercing his skin. Deku would would get hurt by this, but then he would get back up and start attacking Overhaul. Overhaul would make more spikes and just like more like just trying to attack Deku, but Deku would be dodging most of them. He would get hit by some of the attacks, but his armor would be protecting him. But Overhaul would be attacking him like more and more, and his armor would start to break. So Deku would say like, "Oh, my armor's breaking. I have to finish this quick." And he gets up close, and Deku would hit Overhaul in the stomach and piercing him with his brass knuckles. And Overhaul would start bleeding, and Deku would punch Overhaul in the face, and Deku would actually like like would hit that Overhaul in the eye with one of his the spikes that he has on his back knuckles, making his eye like bleed, and it look and basically Overhaul doesn't have his left eye, no, his right eye anymore. And Overhaul's like screaming. He would say like you'll pay for that, and Overhaul would like make more spikes come out of the ground and like the buildings, and Deku would just stand there, and those like the spikes would hit him, and he would use that like a bunch of like dust would appear, and Deku would use that as like an escape plan. So Deku would leave Overhaul there, and Overhaul would say like I'm going to kill that bastard. So Deku will return to his moon layer. I think in one of the last parts I said to name his like his quote unquote like version of a bat cave. I forgot to look at the comments, so I have to look at those later. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna call it moon layer for now. So Deku would arrive there, and he would say like, I gotta fix the suit. But then he would just throw it away, and he would say like, I got other ones. So he would just throw the old suit that he had on. He would just throw that away, and he would like get another one, and it's the exact same one. So yeah. Then Deku would say like, who was that guy? Like a man called him Shizuki. I'm gonna have to investigate. And he had quirk erasing bullets. Like, how is he able to have that? He's up to something, and I have to investigate. And then Deku would go to sleep, and for like a couple of hours, then he would return back to school. So Deku, like, he's just sitting there. Everyone else is talking about like how they did in the sports festival, and they're like just talking. Then Aizawa would show up. He would say like, all right, class, settle down. Now, like, today you'll be picking your internships. And they would like kind of get confused, and they would say like, internships? What do you mean? And Aizawa would say like, there were heroes watching you during the sports festival, and every time when the sports festival ends, heroes are able to send recommendations to their first years to join them and do a work study, no, an internship with them, to get more experience and learn new things about being a hero. And now let's show everyone. I'm gonna show you all like who got the most results. And I'm gonna say Deku would get second. Even though he won the sports festival, he would get second. Todoroki would get first, just barely beating out Deku by like, I'm gonna say like 150, which is kind of a lot, but yeah. And Bakugo would get third. He would be mad about that. Deku doesn't mind because he already won the sports festival, and he doesn't really care. So Aizawa would say like, all right, now you guys have a chance. Now you guys have a day until to pick to which agency you want to go to. And Aizawa would leave the class to go to the bathroom or something, and everyone else would start talking, and Deku would get up, and he would walk towards Aizawa. Like, he would leave the class and he would start like walking towards Aizawa. Deku would stop him, and he would say like, hey, Mr. Aizawa. And Aizawa would say like, what is it, Midoriya? And Deku would say like, I would like to do an internship with you. And as I would say, like an internship with why me? And Deku would say like you know more about martial arts, and plus most of the heroes only use their quirks. They never like teach themselves about martial arts or anyway how to defend themselves if like their quirk was erased or taken away. And Izo would say like, all right, Midoriya, let me think about it. And Deku would say, yeah, all right. And did Deku reveal himself as Moon Knight? I don't. Yeah, he did. I'm just not gonna say anything because I don't want to mess it up. So anyway, so Deku would return back to class. He would go to sit down, and Deku would just look through the options, even though he knows that all the heroes like only like use their quirks, and they only rely on their quirks, and they don't like learn any martial arts besides like Gunhead. But Deku knows that Gunhead, he knows how that he can beat Gunhead in on a one-on-one fight just using martial arts. And Aizawa, not Aizawa, Deku would just be sitting there looking through the options, just not caring. Then some of class 1A would walk up to Deku and they would say like, "So Midoriya, what internship are you going to?" And Deku would say like, "Mr. Aizawa." And they would say like, "Mr. Aizawa, why?" And Deku would say like, all of these heroes rely on their quirks and they never use any type of martial arts. Aizawa, on the other hand, he's not really known. He's not really a known hero, but his quirk is not really for fighting. So he knows a lot of martial arts, and I want to internship with him. So class when they would say like, "Oh, all right, that makes sense." So a couple like the school day would end, and everyone else would be leaving. And Aizawa would say like, "Midoriya, wait," and Midoriya would say like, "All right, like what is it, Mr. Aizawa?" And Aizawa would say like, I agree to take you in as an intern." And I could say, "All right, thank you, Mr. Aizawa." And Aizawa would say like, "All right, you guys would start the internships tomorrow, so you better get ready." And Deku would say, "All right, I'll see you tomorrow." Deku leaves. He he would go to his company building, and I'm gonna say that he kept the bullet, like the quirk erasing bullet, and he would bring it in, and like the people like at the front desk would like greet him like, "Oh yes, Mr. Midoriya, like you need like how like do you need any assistance?" And Deku would say like, "Actually, I do. Like, can you get so and so? I'm not thinking of their names right now. I can't think of any names. But basically, they're really good of like building, like, constructing things and like constructing like things like different types of like gadgets for Deku, and like yeah, so they know how to do things like that. And they would say like, "All right, yes sir," and they would call them up, and they would say like, "Hello, Mr. Midoriya, like you require our assistance?" And Deku would say, "Yes, follow me. Like we need to keep this private." And they would say, "All right, sir." So Deku would walk into this special room that's only for like not for him, but for like private, like I guess tests and like building like private technology that Deku doesn't want to know. Like Deku doesn't want to reveal to like the company or the like the entire company or the public. Like only like a certain amount of people that he trusts can be in that room, and he trusts these two people, and they would say like, "Huh, all right. So what did you need us for?" Deku would say like, "I want you to examine this," and he pulls out the bullet and he throws it to one of them. I'm gonna say one of them is a guy and another one is a girl. So the guy Deku would throw it to the guy and he would say like, "Huh, interesting. I see." And Deku would say like, "It's a bullet that is able to erase someone's quirk." And the girl would say like, "For how long?" And Deku would say, "It's permanent. I got hit by one." And they would say like, "Wait, like, are you okay though?" And Deku would say, I'm quirkless, so it didn't affect me." They would say like, "Oh, thank God." So the guy would say, "So like, you want me to like break this apart and tell you how they made it?" And Deku would say, "Yeah, I want you. Yeah, so do that, please." And the man would say like, "All right." And Deku would say like, "You there, like, go help him out too. We need all hands. I need both of you guys to work on this and work on it in private. I don't want anyone else to know about this." And they would say like, "You got it, sir." And they would leave. No, they wouldn't leave. They would stay in here in the room, and then Deku would leave. Deku would just start thinking about like ways of how like they're making the bullets. He would say like, "Huh, like how are they are able to like make these bullets, or like are they is it like, how are they making this? Is there someone that has a quirk that's able to erase quirks forever, or is it something else?" And Deku would spend like a couple of hours at his company building. Then he would return back home and he would enter his moon layer. Deku would say like, "All right, time to suit up and go on patrol." And it's about like, let's say it's like 10 p.m. So it's like kind of early for Deku to start his patrol. He usually starts it out at midnight, but he felt like doing it a lot doing it early. So he suits up and he goes on patrol. And Deku's actually trying to find where Overhaul is. And he, like, as he's patrolling, he sees, like, kind of like a suspicious car driving around. Deku, like, he notices that something is off about it. So I want to say he has, like, X-ray vision in his built-in X-ray goggles in his suit, so he can see through things. And he sees Overhaul with a couple of other men, and they're driving towards this abandoned factory. And he would say like, "Found you." And now he's like chasing after the car. He's gliding across the sky. Then he like drops down and he starts running, building over. Like, he's just running, building a building. And eventually he would make it towards the abandoned factory. He would jump on the roof. Like, he would glide and he would jump on the roof of the factory. And he would carve out a little hole. And I'm gonna say like there was a window, and he would just like unlock the window. And he would like would be like hiding in like the corner of like the factory. And he would see the League of Villains. And he would say like, "The League of Villains, like, what are they doing here?" And then Overhaul and his little minions would show up there, and Deku is like trying to hear, and he would try to get in close, but not like too close to, so like they wouldn't notice him. then he would like turn on his hearing. No, he would throw some like a really small gadget to like, and it's connected to an earpiece, so like it's kind of like a recorder. And when he throws it down, he turns on his earpiece, and he can hear everything that they're saying. And they're basically talking about like teaming up or like whatever they were talking about in canon. And they would they would start getting into like kind of an argument, and then Overhaul would like kill one of the member of the League of Villains. I can't remember their name. The person with like the concrete pillar. I don't remember. And then Mr. Compress would step in, and then he would lose his arm like in canon. Deku's like, well, like should I step in? But they're villains. Like no, I have to step in. So he jumps down. He throws like a bunch of like smoke bombs, and they would like, what the hell is this? And Deku would come out of nowhere and start like attacking both of them, like each like group. And but mainly at the Overhaul's group, like cause like he just killed a member of like a person, and he just basically kind of disintegrated someone else's arm. And Deku was like going full force on everyone. And Dobby would like would shoot fire like above him, so he like to like make a light to like yeah to make a light, and he would be able to see Deku move like being on like Shigaraki, Toga twice, and Overhaul and the other goons. And then he would shoot fire at Deku, and Deku would dodge this. And then Dobby would shoot fire again, but this time it would hit Deku. But Deku's suit is fireproof, so it wouldn't really do anything. And Dobby would say like, I guess I have to turn up the heat. And he would start like blasting more blue fire, and it's getting like a little too hot. But then Deku would like move out of the way and charge at Dobby. But then like Shigaraki would try to interfere by like trying to like touch Deku. And I'm gonna say Shigaraki would grab onto Deku's cape, and he would disintegrate that. Deku would say like, disintegration. And he would like turn around and kick Shigaraki in the face, making one of his hand like get like detached from his face, and it goes flying, and so does Shigaraki. Then Dobby would see an opening, so he would shoot more fire at Deku. Deku would be dodging this, and he'll eventually get up close and punch Dobby square like in the chest. Dobby would like kind of get sent flying like a couple feet, and then Deku would say like, so Overhaul, you killed someone again, I see. And Overhaul would say like why does it matter to you? And Deku would say like, even though you're a villain, like just taking someone else's life away is just messed up, and it's wrong. And Overhaul would say like, it was a sacrifice for the greater good. And Deku would say like, what do you mean by the greater good? And Overhaul would say like, I plan to cure the world from this disease, like so-called quirks. And Deku would say like, what do you mean? Overhaul would say that quirks originated from like a disease carried by rats, and eventually it got in contact with humans, and yeah, he would start explaining that. That's all I really know. That's all I know. And he would also talk about the quirk singularity theory. He would basically say, and eventually in the future, more quirks will get more and more complex and a lot stronger, to the point that no one will be able to control them. And I intend to that nothing I can't talk. Sorry. He would basically say like I have to end it here before it gets any further. And he would also say that the society is corrupted, and he wants to revert society as it was, like normally with no quirks at all, just like people in their everyday life. And Deku would say like, you have a good point, but you're doing it in the wrong way. And Overhaul would say like there is no other way, and he would make spikes from the ground and shoot them at Deku. Deku would be dodging them. One of them would pierce through his, well, like gaze. It would gaze his arm, and it wouldn't really. It would just say it as armor. Then Deku would start charging out Overhaul. Overhaul would start making more spikes coming off the ground, just everywhere. Deku would be dodging them. Some of the spikes would start hitting Deku. Deku would go in for a punch. Overhaul would catch the punch, and sorry about that cut, guys. I had to go do something. So, so Deku would be charging out Overhaul. Overhaul would be using his quirk and making more spikes to attack Deku with. Deku would be dodging them, and some of them would be grazing his, like would be hitting him, but his suit would be protecting him, so it wouldn't do anything to him. And Overhaul would try to use another quirk bullet on him, because he like thinks that maybe like the other one didn't work because of his suit, and he would aim for like a weak spot, and I'm gonna say one of the spikes like tore through like one of his like one of like his like one of like his like a little bit of his like suit, but it's big, like it was a big enough opening to like to hit Deku with the bullet. So Overhaul shoots Deku with the quirk erasing bullet. He would say that like he would say like, yeah, now you have no quirk. What are you gonna do about it? And Deku would just look at the bullet, and he would pull it out again like he did. And Deku would say like, let me tell you some, or no, he wouldn't say that yet. Yeah, so like, Deku would just still charge at Overhaul. Then he would punch Overhaul in the gut, and he would say like, let me tell you something. And Overhaul would get launched in the air from like just from that one punch. Deku would jump down, and Deku would be in front of Overhaul, and Overhaul, or not, Deku would say like, quirkless, and then he would kick Overhaul back to the ground. And I want to say Overhaul kind of broke his spine, because this kick was pretty powerful. And I would say that Deku would throw more like, I would say he has like his moon rings, like his throwing shurikens, and he would like throw them at Overhaul, and he would like they would pierce through his like arms, or like hit his arms and legs and his chest. And Overhaul would like get up, and he would just like kind of like quote unquote like regenerate, because he can control matter. So like his arms would go back to like normal. And Death would say like, so like if I hit you with this quirk erasing bullet, will it like would it erase your quirk, or does it only work on one person once it's fired? And Overhaul would say like, no, he would say like I'd tell you that. And Deku would say like, all right, one way to find out. And Deku would charge at Overhaul. Overhaul would try to attack Deku, but then Deku would dodge the attack, and Deku would hit the bullet, or not hit the bullet, will pierce not Shigaraki, Overhaul's leg, and he and it, I won't say just wouldn't do anything. I'm gonna say that like it does affect Overhaul's quirk, but it doesn't it doesn't like erase his quirk permanently. It just like erases it for like, I want to say 15 hours. So he will get it back, but it's deactivated right now. And Overhaul would say like, no, like I thought I only worked with one after it hits one target. Deku would say like, huh, go figures. And Deku would knock Overhaul out. And Overhaul, along with the League of Villains, now honestly the League of Villains would escape, and Deku would have to put Overhaul in jail, along with his other minions. So yeah. So Deku would go to the police station and turn in an Overhaul and his other minions, and the cops would say like thank you for your service, Mr. Moon Knight, but you still like you know that being a vigilante is illegal. And Deku would say like it's only illegal if you use your quirk, and I don't have one, so technically it's not illegal. Then he walks off, and the cops are like surprised, and they would say like, you don't have a quirk? And Deku would turn back around and he would say, no, I don't. This just years and years of training in martial arts and different fighting styles. That's how I became this strong. Then he leaves, and he just disappears in the night. And the cops are like shocked by this, and they're like saying, and I'll say it goes around it goes like on the news that the vigilante known as Moon Knight does not have a quirk, and he's actually quirkless. And this and like we see like this happen on a TV, and a guy would see this. A guy in his mid-40s, buff but not too buff. He's like smiling, and he would say like, so he's quirkless like me, and he walks off. Like he was like on the street, and he just looked at a TV, and yeah, he just walked off, giving like a little grin. And other like two more people would also see this. They would also say like, huh, one of them would say like, so he's like my sensei, interesting. Might have to like fight him 1v1. And the other person would say like, huh, I never knew there was another vigilante that was quirkless. That's interesting. And I can't wait to meet him. So that's where I'm gonna end it off. I hope you guys liked this part, and if you did, make sure to like, subscribe, and before I go, I just wanted to say something real quick. Lately, like in the comments, some people are saying like, why are the videos like taking so long to come out? And I just wanted to say, just in case if they didn't like watch like some of my earlier videos, like from like a month ago, I explained that like school is starting. I'm in school right now, so I have a lot of work to do, and plus I'm in high school, so it's harder for me. Like this is my first year, and so like that's why the videos are coming out late, but they're longer than usual. So that's why. So I just wanted to clarify to those people that I am in school, and that's why the videos are coming out later than usual. So yeah, with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
That body, baby, show me.